It's in this office that the Speaker for Kayunga District, Ntege Kizito, sits. He warmly welcomes me as I make myself comfortable to interact with him about his life. Ntege Kizito was born in 1965 to Chiza Basilio and Catherine Nakalembe of Kayunga District, and he comes from a family of 4 children.
Father passed away at a very early age of mine in 1979, yes, and the mother carried on the task.
It's at this point that he narrates to me how he lost his sight for good.
They said that at the time of my being weaned off, that's when I became blind by the attack of measles.
With no hope of getting his sight back, some nuns who were friends to Ntege's parents advised them to take their son to Madare School of the Blind in Soroti. While at school, he met a lot of challenges. Going about his life away from home made life almost impossible.
The love the parents had given me was a total spoiling, because almost each and everything I learned from school, even toileting and putting on a shirt.
But Ntege never gave up. While in Madare Primary School, he was inspired by one of his teachers who was blind like him.
It inspired me that I wish one time I could also be a teacher and help the fellow blind.
He continued with his secondary education, after which he went for a teacher training course.
I went to Bishop Willis, that is in Uganda.
Besides teaching, Ntege had another calling in his life, and it's at this point that he went for a 2-year theology course.
Really, in the rural area, the word had not spread by then, called Wabirongo. That's why I pastor today.
Surprisingly, his communication is so articulate that he cannot miss a telephone call. Thanks for the advancement of today's technology that has enabled Ntege to go about his business without any hassle.
Because it's normal to know who has called. I have to press a button here.
In 1997, his urge to join politics grew. It's from this point that he explained to me where the whole idea came from.
In Romans 13, that all authority comes from God. So therefore, it means it's the godly people who are supposed to take these positions.
After successfully serving as a local councillor, this experience gave him a foundation that elevated him to campaign for the office of the Speaker for Kayunga District.
Uganda, as by law established, so help me God.
One would wonder how Ntege would manage such a position with no sight, but those who work with him find him quite extraordinary.
During the capacity building the workshops, he was the most informed and knowledgeable person. He was good at giving points of order and even quoting the relevant act.
For mobility purposes, Ntege uses a motorcycle to ease his work. His home is close to 15 kilometers from the council where he works. From work, he is welcomed by his wife Nanceira Francis to a family where they happily live with their 6 children.
This problem of fuel. I fed on my chairman.
You are thirsty. Here, life is more simpler because he doesn't need a guide. His Parkins Brains machine does a wonderful job for him as he uses it for writing notes and speeches.
This is the lining.
A-U-R-I-C-E. I then asked him how he met his wife.
He is born of this village, so she grew seeing me, and that's how we made ourselves. God made it like that. And in the past, during my childhood, I used to say that I never wanted to marry somebody from my own village.
Despite being a busy man, his family comes first, and he tries his level best to make it up to them.
Sometimes some other weekends are also captured during the day, but at least I make sure that in the evening I sit with my family.
As a blind man, how do your children get to treat you when you're at home with them?
They don't take me as a blind man, but they have it as their father. That's what I see in them.
His advice to his children is to value education and trust in God. And in his free time, he loves reading and listening to radio.
When I'm at home, I read my books. I love listening to radio for information. Yeah, outside radios like BBC and then VOA, Voice of America.
What was that moment in your life when you felt alone?
Not quite, but you know, as these children come on adolescence time, they tend to be disturbing me. Yeah. Call them this side, they jump to the other end.
Ntege's role model is his mother, Catherine Nakalembe, but cautions women against being exploited.
People should learn to be positive and never underrate themselves.
Ntege's worst moment is when someone attempted to take away his kids from him just because he was blind.
And I had to insist. That, no, because these children have to grow with me so that they don't take the negative attitude that, no, this one is not my father. Because they grew with me, I've been with them.
Maurice Chol, NTV.